Hello everyone, welcome back to Siddle's Podcats, welcome to Siddle's Podcats. It's been a while because I got busy, also because I forgot to upload videos and stuff, and technically I filmed a video for my TBR from January, so I might upload that at some point. Things got rough is my point. I handed in my last paper for the semester yesterday on March 27. It was rough, okay? But I get to talk about fun books again until university has me in its grasps again, which will happen at some point. We're just... I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. There's a couple of days left in March, and I have plans for April, and everything is going to be fine. So, I did actually buy a couple more books in March that weren't on the approved list, so I ended up with a little bit of a larger physical TBR pile than I would have liked to. So the last few days of March I want to do some quote-unquote damage control. So I have a couple of books here that I'm either in the middle of or that I am considering trying to read in March still, and then I have a bunch of planned books for April, as well as some maybes and some whatever happens happens, and as per usual, none of these books are a guarantee ever, because my TBRs never work out. By which I mean either I read the entire thing and then some, I read nothing from the pile and a lot of other things, or I go like 50-50, 30-70. You never know with me, I don't know either. But these videos are fun to make, so here we are. I have 4 books here, 3 of which I am currently reading, one of which I've picked out because it is rather short, and it is the start of another project that I would like to get to over the course of my lifetime. It's probably more accurate. So, the ones I'm currently in the middle of and that I would like to finish before April starts are, number 1... You can't really see a title, but this is Salt Swept by Catalina Watt. This was the Illumicrate February pick. Customary moment to admire. Thank you. I am about, I want to say a third into this. I am on page 110, and it has 300 and something. Well, 380. So not exactly a third, but close to a third. I'm having conflicting feelings about this, which is why I didn't pick it back up again. But I want to try and finish it in March still. I don't like to drag my books around in other months if I can help it, to be quite honest with you. But once I finish this one, I will also be on top of my Illumicrate subscription, because the March pick, which is Aicha, I think that's how you say it, Aicha is not coming this month. I haven't gotten a shipping update yet, which I'm quite used to. I'm quite used to Illumicrate books not necessarily arriving in the month they are full, essentially. But I am very happy to be caught up with my subscriptions at all times. So Aicha is also joining the other pile, but I will probably be saying that at some point, because I just really like to be on top of my Illumicrate game, because there's a reason I'm subscribed, and the reason is not to accumulate all these books and never touch them. That's all I'm saying. The second book I'm currently, well, also not necessarily in the middle of, but that I've started, is this absolute beauty. This is a German self-published fantasy book. It's called Eine Blume aus Gift und Eisen, a flower made of poison and iron, and it is like steampunk historical fantasy vibes. We are in London, it is 1890, and our main characters are a dryad called Mossflower, should be the correct translation, and a war witch called Nastasia, who happen to be old lovers, kind of trying things again, and also potentially being involved in a heist of sorts that might or might not be very dangerous. This actually won a German Booker Prize. It won the Seraph, which I think there's like 4 categories or something, which is really exciting. It won it for Indie Book, because it is self-published. And first of all, the cover. the sprayed edges. And then, you're not ready for this. So I'm sorry, I need to show this. There are, look at that. Aren't they stunning? There's like newspaper, quote unquote, newspaper clippings, and like, look at this. They're everywhere in this book. This is so pretty. Like with my Lumicrate editions, this is not leaving my house, so I need to finish this while I'm not at work. So either today, tomorrow after work, or on Monday, I will be diving into this one again. This is my last book that I have not, my last book by the author that I own but haven't read yet. I don't know why talking is so hard right now. But yeah, Sapphics. I love lesbians. And the third one that I started today, because I got it today and I couldn't wait, is Seasons of Glass and Iron by Amal El Motar. This is her newest short story collection. She's picked up a lot of stories. I believe every single one of these has previously been published, or maybe the name-giving one, Seasons of Glass and Iron. Maybe the name-giving one hasn't been published. Hold on, is there a way to check for me? I don't remember. But, well no, it has been. Never mind. So, all previously published. But, Amanda Mota, for those who are tangentially have heard the name before, she is one of the co-authors of This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is one of my all-time favorite books ever, at all times, forever, and so on and so forth. And I am collecting everything she writes as far as I can get my hands on it, and I am about a third into it. It really made me almost cry twice. This is fantastic. I expected nothing else from it because it's Amal El Motar, but I love her writing style, and all of these stories have to do with celebrating women in a way. I love women. I fucking love women. This is amazing. I'm very emotional over it, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. But I wanna read this. I will probably just keep on reading it because it's just so good. And also it's fairly short. It's like 200 pages. So this is my baby. And the last book I picked out, I haven't started yet, but it is one of the shortest ones I have on my TBR, and I was like, you know what, why not? And that would be Crossing the Mangrove by Maryse Condé, who is a Guadeloupean author. Is or was. Are you still alive, ma'am? I don't know. Hold on. Let me check that. Hello? I cannot tell if she's still alive. But she was awarded an alternative Nobel Prize for Literature in 2018. That's cool. I didn't know that. Now, I said that this is part of a project that I've decided to do, and the project is very simple. This, as you might be able to tell if you are any sort of familiar with what's it called? Classical fiction, and so on and so forth. This is the Penguin Modern Classics collection. They have the very telltale turquoise spines and backs, and they usually have the name of the author written in turquoise as well, which is why you probably can't really tell in this lighting. Here we go. There it is. And they are a series of books that would be considered modern classics, which usually corresponds with being written anywhere between the 1920s to 30s to ish the 1980s, give or take. There's always a bit of wiggle room with that kind of stuff. And they are a collection of over 1,000 books. I went onto their page to check, and there's like 1,230 something. It's a lot, right? And what I didn't know, however, is that they apparently are making a very concerted effort trying to push authors that are not just part of the Western canon. Like, you find a lot of those too, which in all fairness, there's a reason why some books get added to the canon, and we can have discussions about, you know, the type of authors that get pushed by the canon, but we cannot really deny that a lot of them have earned their place there to a degree. The point is, while the canon is incredibly racist, sexist, misogynistic, and so on and so forth, it doesn't necessarily mean that the pieces that are published within it and that are held to higher standards are necessarily bad just because, right? Like, we can say the literature is good while also admitting to the fact that there is a lot of people whose literature is also good that has never been considered for the canon, is probably the best way to put it. But the Penguin Modern Classics collection actually has a lot of marginalized authors, which I didn't previously know, and the reason I'm so excited about this is because Penguin as a publisher is incredibly well known for their various different lines and publication lines, more specifically, for classic literature. They have Penguin English Library, they have the Modern Classics editions, they have the black ones with the paintings in the front, and so on and so forth, right? They have a lot of publishing lines dedicated to classic literature. And so for people who are starting out, or who have maybe read like 5 in their lifetime, because those 5 were, you know, talked about in school, and they want to get into that kind of stuff, Penguin is a good first publisher to kind of get an overview of what exists. Spoiler, it's a lot. And so I'm always very excited when lists like these that are very easily and publicly available then also feature a lot of authors from places you might have never heard about, or places you might have never read from, or authors you just also never heard about because no one was talking about them in any discussions when it came to the canon, when it came to modern classics, what have you. And there were so many books on there. I swear I browsed for like 30 minutes and I'm pretty sure I added like 50 titles to my TBR. It's very dangerous, but I want to try and collect a good amount of these from authors I've never heard of, and authors I've never read from, and authors from countries I've never read from, or rarely read from, right? I want to collect a lot of the marginalized authors that Penguin Modern Classics have decided to publish in their line, and I want to read them because that's fun to me. And I want to recommend that to other people as well. So, Crossing the Mangrove is gonna be my first foray into that. I bought 3 books. I bought Crossing the Mangroves, A Woman in Power, I think, which is a memoir by, or a memoir by and about the first female leader of the Black Panthers, I believe. Eliza Brown? Don't quote me on the name. I have a very bad memory for names. And The Salt Eaters, which is also by a black author, if I remember correctly. Also potentially from the Caribbean, but I'm gonna have to take a look. My point is, this is the first one that I want to pick up because it's rather short, and I think I can maybe still get this done in March or at the beginning of April, which would be fun. And I really want to continue picking up books from this line. Also because, in case you didn't know, when you put a lot of them next to each other, they look really nice on your shelf. I am very subtly influencing you here. But yeah, those are the 4 books that I'm currently kind of in the middle of considering to try and read this month still, so we can have the physical TBR be somewhat under control. And now, let's talk about all the books that I think I want to read in April. Number to be determined. Because in April, while university is starting back up again, I don't have any papers to worry about, okay? So I want to read, and I want to read for fun. Right, so, first things first, on the first weekend of April, I'm going to visit a friend. She also reads a lot, and this is... Listen, I understand how this looks, but this is the pile of books that I think of bringing. It's fine, okay? We read a lot together, right? So, I have 3 nonfiction and 4 fiction picks for this. On the nonfiction pile, we have 2 essay collections and 1 popular science book. The essay collections are Light and Thread by Han Kang in the tiniest hardcover edition I've ever seen. This includes her Nobel Prize acceptance speech, which is called Light and Thread, as well as some poetry and like essays and reflections and so on and so forth, I guess. As the book says, the acceptance speech, so Light and Thread, which gave the collection its name, was translated by E. Yaiwon and Paige Anaya Morris, and the rest of the book was translated by Maya West, because for those who don't know, Han Kang is a Korean author, and she won the Nobel Prize for Literature 2024. The year before last. Numbers are hard. She won that thing. Fantastic. I've read almost everything by her. I'm missing, I think it's called The White Book, and then now obviously her newest one, and I've read Greek Lessons, The Vegetarian, Human Acts, and We Do Not Part. And I really like her. In case you couldn't tell, because I keep picking up her books. So, this is on the list, and I'm excited. Next, second essay collection. This is back from Jacaranda Books, because I fucking love Jacaranda Books. This is Mandem, edited and with an edition by Iggy North. This is a collection of black male authors from, I believe, mainly from the UK. And it's all about masculinity and how to work through masculinity in a time like this where you maybe don't want your masculinity to hurt others, with also some delving into queerness, specifically black male queerness, and how to navigate that in the current culture and in the current, you know, the way that everyone is behaving. And I'm very excited for this one, actually. Because I like a good essay collection as much as the next person, and I think this might talk about some topics that I'm, first of all, not super well versed on, and second of all, that I'm just interested in how these authors are going to navigate these topics, which is one of the reasons you pick up an essay collection, right? Is you just want to know. You just want to know. It's fairly short. It's like... how long? It's like less than 200 pages, and I am very intrigued to see how this is going to go and how this is going to feel like. I started reading into it like a tiny bit, and it really intrigued me, because I think especially the beginning of Iggy London, this kind of like the introduction to everything, it's called Mandem United. I thought the beginning was very interesting because it felt very... well, maybe not provocative, but thought-provoking in a way, because let me just read this to you. This book is not just for the woke. This book is not just for the politically correct inner-city creators living in Shoreditch's trendiest apartments. This book is not just for the people who listen to podcasts and are well-versed on speaking about the effects of gentrification and the cost of living crisis. Your chakras do not need to be aligned for you to understand this book. You don't need to have a PhD in social theory to relate to this book. This is because this book is not just for those who identify as intellectuals. It is not just for the young men and women of the snowflake generation who know what hypermasculinity is. This book is not just for black men who feel comfortable wearing fuchsia or pink or velvet. I know there are many of us. Shout out to my fellow brethren. This book is not just for my mother, who probably found it easy to shut this book than to open it. This book is not just about masculinity. It is not strictly about class, race, or religion. This book is not just for the mandem. And then we have the following sentence, which is just, this book is and will forever be a book for the people. And I think that's interesting, because I'm not going to lie to you, my initial reaction upon reading this was like, okay, I'm a bit worried now. And I want to know if that worry is justified, or if that worry is precisely what this was trying to evoke in people, to then make them intrigued to keep going with this. So, I will tell you my thoughts about this when I get to it, but I'm excited. And then, last non-fiction, like I said, we have popular science. For those of you who don't know, popular science is a term that came about, I think, in the 19th to 20th century. I think 19th, mainly. Basically, it is science discoveries written for the populace, for the people. It is science discoveries written in ways that are entertaining and understandable for people, so you don't have to get through like a massive chunk of unintelligible jargon that you have no idea what any of that means. It doesn't necessarily mean that the book is, like, with less information in mind, but you do have to keep in mind that there might be information in there that's been presented a bit more palatable for the people, meaning it might or might not have been edited harshly. But one good way of telling if a popular science book might do a good job at representing what it does is how big the notes section in the back is, because the notes section has all of the bibliography in it. You want to know how big the notes section for this one is? This is the notes section. That is a pretty good... That's Yep, that's a pretty good percentage. And the book I'm talking about is Impossible Monsters: How the Discovery of Dinosaurs Changed the World by Michael Taylor. This is set in 1811, which is when the first bones of a dinosaur were discovered by a young girl on Britain's southern shoreline, and it centers specifically around people's reactions to this, which, in all fairness, if I had been alive during the time, my first reaction probably would have been, what the actual fuck are we looking at here? And I think that's cool. I kind of really hope that the book leans into, like, the absurdist ideas that this probably sparked. I'm really hoping that that's the case. I'm hoping to be entertained by this. I've no idea about the writing style. This is my first time interacting with anything that Michael Taylor has written. But I am very excited. I'm very, very excited. I just, look at it. look at it, look at the map! These are all the dinosaurs they discovered. Anyway, I'm really, I love finds like these. They are some of my favorites because I love science in general, but I love seeing people's reactions to science a lot more. Like all of the people going like, what the actual fuck are we looking at here? I kind of really hope this one gives me that. Nevertheless, dinosaurs. Hell fucking yeah. Right, so, now, 4 fiction picks. Yes, fantastic. I'm going to start with this one. So, this one is the one that I will probably go to first, because one of the reasons I want to read it is because if I like it, I'm leaving it at my friend's place because she would probably want to read it too, and that is Hell's Heart by Alexis Hall, with the wonderful tagline of Sapphic Moby Dick in space. I don't know a whole lot else about this book, but the tagline got me. Okay, so like I know this deals with like cosmic Lovecraftian horrors possibly, and I think if I remember correctly, and, you know, that would also explain the tagline, these monsters are harvested, or something about them is harvested, to make spaceships go, which, again, direct through line to why we're hunting the goddamn whale in Moby Dick. I don't know anything else about this, but I am excited. I really hope that I enjoy this. Because, like, that tagline, come on, you cannot be wasting that tagline on a book that isn't fun. But I love the cover, too. But yeah, I'm gonna pick this one up first, I'm pretty sure. I might read this on the way to my friend as well, for example. And, once I finish it, I'm leaving it at her place, unless I didn't like it, in which case I will let her decide if she wants to keep it or not. And the other 3 that I'm taking with me to my friend are buddy reads. One of them is a buddy read that is new to both of us. One of them is a buddy read that is new to me, because she needs to make me stop reading so fast. Every time we have a buddy read, I will be like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened, and then it'll turn out I'm like 100 pages in front of her, and she's like, shut the fuck up, stop telling me. So she's decided to artificially make me slow down. But the one that's new to both of us is Green and Deadly Things by Jen Lyons. This is her newest book. It came out this month, actually, and we love Jen Lyons. We've read the Ruin of Kings series together by her, and I love that series. It's a fantastic fantasy series. It's very fun, it's very queer, it's very what the fuckery. And I know very little about this one. I know that there's plant magic and there's necromancers. So, yeah, we're reading this one together. It is 350 pages. It's a standalone from all I know. So, very excited to see where this is going. The buddy read that we're doing together, but that I am in the not know about, and she is The Dandelion Dynasty, starting with The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. This is on my series TBR because I have the first 2 in the 4-book series, and I want to start it, finally. I do have to buy book 3 and 4 because I don't own them yet, so they will have to be added to my budget, obviously, but I'm fine with this because I just really want to pick it up, okay? It sounds so cool. And she really loves it, and usually our tastes align pretty well, so Christ of Kings. And finally, this last one is not a buddy read, necessarily, but she's read it, and she wants to see my reaction to Observe Me Under a Microscope. And that is Inamorata, which is the newest book by Ava Reid, the first one in the House of Teeth duology, if I remember correctly. Now, Ava Reid and we have a little bit of a complicated history. I have so far read everything that she's put out. And ever since I read Juniper and Thorn, which is my favorite of hers, like, I started with her debut, which was The Wolf and the Woodsman, and I thought that one was fine, but in my opinion it was also obvious it was a debut. There were some snags and so on and so forth. But ever since I read Juniper and Thorn, I was in love with her writing style, and it, to this day, is my favorite. And then, we got Lady Macbeth, and I did not like that book. I might make a video about this at some point, but I had so many issues with Lady Macbeth, including but not limited to the fact that it was touted as this feminist retelling where Lady Macbeth finally gets a voice. We forgot about the famous monologue that she has in the play, where she directly talks about how she doesn't want to be a woman anymore, essentially, because women don't get to be angry and choose revenge and destruction instead of dying prettily or whatever. Like, I had a lot of issues with that. And then I read Fable for the End of the World, which was another of her YA books, and I also had issues with that. I thought the thing that made her so distinctive to me, which was her writing style, were just not present in that book. And I think it's because she wanted it to be more accessible to a YA audience, but it just did not hit with me that way. And then I had people say that they thought Inamorata was disgusting, and that it was horrible, and that it was so bad and dark and gloomy, and I was like, oh, so it's for me then. It is made for me. I know everyone says to read the trigger warnings. I'm consciously deciding against that. I don't care. I want to be disgusted by this book. It is gothic fiction. Her other gothic fiction book, which is Juniper and Thorn, is my favourite. So I have very high hopes that this is a return to me and Ava Reid being friends. We will see. We will see. But I am excited. Also, I think it's stunning. So, there's that. Right, these are the books I'm taking to my friend. There's some more. These are all... well, most of them are like, whatever, babies. I wanna try and see how far I can get with these. We have essentially 3 different thematics. So let's just start with the one that only has one book, which is Buddy Read with Another Person. That also includes a fancy edition of mine, and that is Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. This is the second book in the Indian Lake trilogy. Great Indian Lake trilogy? What's the name of this series? Lake Witch Trilogy. Okay. It's the second one of those. I got the entire thing from Illumicrate, which is why it looks absolutely stunning. And I buddy read the first book with Steph back in, I want to say October last year? I don't remember when exactly we did it, but it was towards the end of the year. And ever since then I was like, hey, just let me know when you want to continue, because I'm ready whenever, essentially, but I know that you have more planned out TBRs than I do, so stage is yours. And she has finally decided that we can fit this into April. I'm excited. Everyone is excited. I love these editions, but I also really enjoy Stephen Graham Jones's way of dealing with horror, so I'm quite excited to see where this is going, especially because book 1 felt very done. Like, the story was done, so I'm interested to see how we're tying back into book 1 and what's going to happen in this one, because I don't know, I couldn't tell you. But Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones is on the TBR pile. Next one, let's just go for series. I'm still doing my series thing of, like, I want to make progress with the series I have on my shelves, and while I'm already doing Dandelion Dynasty, I thought, let's just let's just keep going. So I've picked 2 trilogies that I now own completely. One of them is 2 rereads and 1 new one, because I did not get further into my reread of book 1 in February, which is when I planned it. And that would be The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, which is the first book in the Magic of the Lost trilogy. I have read the first 2 books. I haven't read the last one yet, so I'm rereading the first 2 to get to the 3rd one. I am currently like about 150 pages into the first book, which is close to 500. So I'm not doing the math, but it's this far. Hooray! So rereads. 2 rereads and then a new book. And the other one is 1 reread and then 2 new books, and that would be the Little Thieves trilogy by Margaret Owen. I read the first book. I really liked the first book, and then I got the second book and I never got around to it, and then the 3rd book came out and I equally never got around to it, and now all 3 are out in these compact paperback versions. I just got the 3rd one, so I think this is a fantastic sign to finally get to the whole trilogy. I remember the first book being a lot of fun and thus feeling very fast-paced, so I'm actually feeling pretty confident that I can knock this series out like nobody's business. And finally, I just grabbed 2 where I was like, I just really want to read this. Number 1 is also a newer release. Technically, it's coming out in April. Not so technically, my bookseller decided that it was coming out in March for me. And that is Vile Lady Villains by Danae Christopoulou. This is a retelling-ish. In this book, we have Lady Macbeth meeting Clytemnestra after she kills her husband Agamemnon. And they get thrown into this, like, other dimension where they kind of have to work together or die, because shit happens. It's sapphic. It has a stunning cover. And also, we love retellings featuring Greek mythology by actually Greek authors. Thank you. I have no idea what to expect from this. I've heard some people say that they liked it. I've heard some people say they didn't like it. I'm just gonna find out for myself, but either way, she's stunning, so I won. I've won already. And the last one is a little bit of a random pick because I just saw it again and I just really wanted to get to it, and that would be Sisters in Yellow by Kawakami Mieko. This is my 2nd time reading the author. The first one I read was, I think, All the Lovers in the Night. I'm not sure anymore. I read it as an ebook, so I do not remember title or cover. I just remember reading it and I really enjoyed it. She's a Japanese author. This book is translated by Laurel Taylor and Yoshio Hitomi. And it is actually rather large, which I wasn't expecting at first when I got it, because I'm used to Kawakami's books looking very slim on the shelves. This one is not slim. This one is not slim. We are at like 430 pages. God damn. But I'm excited. I've heard really good things about this, and I quite enjoy Kawakami's writing style. It's a very quiet writing style that delves into feelings very deeply, and I was quite fond of that in the book that I've read of hers, which I will put somewhere on the screen, so we all remember what the title was, because I right now surely don't. So I am excited for this one. No particular other reason to read it in April. I just really want to get through some of the books on my physical TBR, and all of these are either new books, so they still have my pea-sized brain's attention, or they are books that I want to read with friends, or they just make me go, hey, I have a pile of non-fiction, I think we're just gonna go through some of these and see what happens. Which is how, among other things, the essay collection and the dinosaur book came along. So, without any more yapping, because I've done that quite a lot, let me know in the comments down below if you know any of these books, and or if you would like opinions on any of these books, because I usually have quite a few opinions. I will be linking the Modern Penguin Classics lists for my little project, as well as Jacaranda books down below, because I think they just deserve all of my love at all times. I like to support smaller books and smaller bookshops and publishers, and Jacaranda Books is fantastic. They have a great collection of books, in my humble opinion, because I currently have like 8 of theirs, I think. So, if you want to browse a bit, it's down there. It's a black-owned business in the UK. It's a small publisher, and they have good books. They have very good, like, marginalized picks. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you have any reading plans for April, and also let me know in the comments down below if... What else could you let me know in the comments down below? What was your favourite book so far this year? Let me know. Because I feel like I've been severely out of the loop when it comes to reading. I just read what I like at this point, and I just don't. I have like a couple of friends that update me, and that's all I know about the reading world outside of my little chamber. So let me know in the comments down below if you've already had a favourite that you think might make it to your favourites list of 2026. How about that? As always, I hope that you continue having a nice reading experience in April and for the rest of the year and also eternity. And that you keep having a nice reading experience, and I will see you soon. Probably.